You can, okay, I should share my screen so you can see. Okay. Okay, so now I can start. Okay, for today, we are going to talk about the front-end development part. We won't go into much details because it's more an introduction of what is going on in the front-end world. Okay, so my name is Safaa Hammoud, and I'm here because I love front-end development, and I have passion to developing the front-end part in the application. Um, so basically, where did I start? I majored in computer science I finished my degree within 2 years because I was eager to get involved in the job market. So basically what I did is that I asked my fellow members will we get a job after we are graduated? And then they would tell me that we don't know. Like I started talking to people in the job market so that I get more visibility of what is waiting us. So I learned Angular when I was in my university, like the senior year, and I submitted my senior project using Angular because like in university they don't teach you about frameworks, they don't teach you about even maybe JS, most like basic things. They have the curriculum and that's okay, but you have to do your work. You have to research about the latest trends in the market. So and when I graduated, I started working at Blue Ring for 1 year, and then using Angular. And I had so many seniors like supporting me. And after Blue Ring, I moved to Saradar Bank, which is felt like a better opportunity to me to grow. And I also used Angular for development. And then Blue Ring, after Saradar, I moved to Coptalist. That I'm a senior front-end developer at Coptalist, using Vue.js for the development. Uh, Today I'm going basically to talk about my main points, how to be a front-end developer and what are the front-end fundamentals and the UX, UI, TypeScript front-end framework, and what are the giants in the market and about testing. And app challenge, I forget to edit this. There wouldn't be an app challenge because this is an introductory session. So how to be a front-end developer? You have to think that the first thing to do is to get involved and read more about the front-end fundamentals and about JS, more importantly, to get check, for example, the fundamentals, like what is hoisting, what is global scoping, method scoping, var, lat, const, like arrow function versus a normal function. These all are things that you should know before getting involved in any framework. And this is one of the wrong thing. And this is one of the wrong things that I did because I just got involved more in the framework, not in the JS fundamentals. So what happened is that I would have a problem in my code. So I would spend much more time debugging and why is this happening? That's because لأنه ما عرفت إنه في fundamental أنا مش مراجعتها من قبل بالجي اس كان لازم راجعة to get me moving forward, solving problems I'm having using the framework such as Angular or Vue. So I would highly recommend you to get more time checking the fundamentals. And إذا أنت حدا like a junior or beginner or someone who will be an intern, like الانترفيو اللي حيكون لك حيكون عن mainly on these topics. You should be fully understanding these topics and to have in your budget like 1 or 2 beginner applications to get you like confidence in the interview that you know the basics and you have built some cool applications. So they would be like the companies would be running for you and they want to hire you, not you would be running after the companies to hire you. Another thing that will be important for you as a front-end developer is the UI UX, because like as a front-end developer, you are developing something that is visible to the client. So you should know, like alongside the JS fundamentals, and like you should know more about the UI UX. It's a skill that every front-end developer should have in order to know that he is developing a feature اللي حتكون good experience for the user. Because إذا حدا يعني like had a bad experience in your website or application, مش حيكون حابب يزورها كتير. It would be like I didn't like the experience in it. في مثلا application تاني أحلى experience in it. Like for example, when clicking on a button and opening a pop-in, would it be like a good experience for the user, or better إنه فرج الuser a form and then he would fill it instead of opening the pop-in, and he would be like, maybe some people wouldn't like it. So this UI UX, you should have a basic like research about it and not really dig deep in it. Okay. So something about TypeScript here and like front-end frameworks and testing. Okay. So we will go forward. Let's say you finish the fundamentals, everything is cool with you, you are confident about JS knowledge. Please, can someone... Okay, so we will end up in the job developing single-page applications, SPA. And the single-page applications are really good for the performance, and are like every Angular application, Vue application, React application is a single-page application. What does that mean? It means that our application is running in a single page, and whenever you are changing pages, you are changing templates, and everything is still visible. Like the header is still visible, the side nav is still visible, and the templates are just changing. It's better than like the approaches that اللي كانوا قبل single page applications, which are مثلا إذا كبسنا على page and we want to go to another, إذا كبسنا على button and we want to go to another page, it will need to reload the whole page in order to get you to the second page. It's not good user experience wise. It's not good like بدك ترجع تعمل اللود للريسورسز مرة تانية again. It will consume like the bandwidth. You should call APIs again. In time, like the single page application, it won't reload the entire page. Okay, so you've got everything well before, and then like to learn about TypeScript. And what is TypeScript? Mainly in all the jobs, you will be using TypeScript as a language. Um, like it's a superset of JavaScript features, but it is like it takes JavaScript and like it takes it to the other level. It's better. It helps you to write clean code. It helps you to write error, yeah, like less error prone code. And like, let's take an example why we want to use TypeScript and not, and we won't be writing JavaScript in a job. But before, I will mention that there is one disadvantage of you writing TypeScript is that like the browser only understands JavaScript. So like we would need a compiler to compile the TypeScript to JavaScript. And don't worry about it. Like most of the frameworks ships already with like a compiler to handle that. You won't be like coding this. So why we would like to use TypeScript? I would give you a brief example. For example, I would open the TypeScript playground. And I will open the JS editor online. I will open both. Let's say we have a function add, and you have like the first number and the second number. And you would like to return, I'm too lazy writing it again. And we would call this method and pass it like 2 and pass it a string 3. Okay. And then we would like console log. Okay, we are calling it, everything is nice, but we want to add this first number and the second number. What does that give us? 23. We don't want this. We want to add 2 and 3. What we are doing is that we are developing this method, and we don't have any idea that this is wrong, that we shouldn't pass a string here. I will take the method and run it like here, and then it will give us an error that this is like this is a string, you can't pass the string here. And what we should do is that like we can fix this before the runtime of the application, and we would know that it's warning us that this should be a number, this shouldn't be a string. Like the message is telling us. So when we remove the string, we would have our desired result. So this is a simple example why we are using TypeScript and not JavaScript at job. And it's better for productivity. Like you would not spend much time writing the code, and then after 1 hour you would know that there's something wrong and you would be debugging it. In TypeScript, it starts nagging, like the compiler will start nagging, and you would know that there's something wrong. Okay, so for the big giants in the market, the React, the Angular, the Vue framework, like there is difference, and some companies adopt different frameworks and libraries depending on their case, whether like if you want to compare between React, Angular, Vue. First of all, any company that would adopt one of these, like framework or library, they would like check first. Right. They would check first who developed them, because we want to know that they are something reliable, and they want like there will not be someday that they will lose support or something like that. So React is by Facebook. So what makes us really wanting to adopt it and to use it. Google Angular is by Google, so it makes it much reliable to choose it. And the Vue is by Evanio. He is a guy that used to work at Angular, so you are in good hands if you want to choose Vue. It's not developed by a tech giant, but that's good. For basically for the React and the Vue, it's more used for the small, medium-sized applications such as plugs and portals. Same for the Vue. For the Angular, it's used for the large size applications such as banking apps. For Angular, it has like the most features are implemented. For example, for the forms validation, for the security. But in Vue, like sometimes, in some cases, you might need to add an additional module to your application to do, for example, a form validation, because it's not shipped by default to have a module that would validate your form. That is in sometimes you might need to add an additional module. So why we don't want that? Because ممكن يكون الموديول تكون مثلا اللي أنا بدي زيدها تكون outdated or having a problems. It will add problem to my application. And secondly, it will enlarge my bundle size in the application. I don't want that because that will affect my performance, the performance of the application. It might take much more time to load than the normal case. So in Angular, for example, there is a form validation built inside Angular that you could use. It's more like a module within Angular. You don't have to add an additional external module to use to validate your form. Okay. Actually, all have a great community support, but for the React, it might have like an additional community support. Okay, moving on. Like, I hope I didn't skip a comparison between them, but this is more like a brief, not in details. Moving on to the styling. There is the box model, for example, concept that any person, any front-end developer should be like familiar with. And there is the you can use the CSS or the SCSS language to write your styling, and there is the flex and the grid for the elements alignment. So, for example, we would take this application, this website, as an example, لحتى to practice our styling. So, for example, this could be built using the grid, لأنه الجريد هو more for multi-dimension, like it can be used to design our page for the x-axis and the y-axis using the columns and the rows. Flex is more for unidirectional alignment. So إذا بدنا نحط items next to each other, and then we would like to have spacing between them, we would be using like flex, display flex, and we would be using like, for example, justify content or any other attributes to align our items next to each other on the same row. And this is sorry. And this is more likely, like more likely at the work, you would be using one of these UI libraries, because this will like save you time developing any UI element from scratch. So you would be using Bootstrap. At work, we use Beautify. It's great. If you're using Angular, you might be using Angular material for the UI. And for the React, there is the material library. And something about the testing, it's great. Like no one really talks about testing a lot, and it is really a great part of the development. And sometimes people start testing even before writing code, because it helps you to really understand what you are coding and what are the edge cases you might encounter, because you don't want to start coding right away. You want to think about the edge cases. What are the cases you might face that you might be forgetting? And it ensures a good code quality. And it's something that most juniors and most like interns and people that are starting to code that forget about. But it's really important, because it ensures a good quality, code quality, and it ensures that whenever you are adding a new feature, you are not breaking an existing feature that you have built before. So it's something that you should always ask your managers at work to have time for testing, because it's not something that you're gonna like take easily. So these are the tools that you might use at work for testing, and it's something like a Just or Jasmine plus Karma. These tools like Jasmine plus Karma is by default used in Angular applications. You don't have to add them manually. Just you might need to add it for the Vue application, for example. And moving on to the testing, like these are the additional resources that you should be looking at. First of all, the MDN. It's really great resource to look at. And it has it's like more documentation for the JS. And here you can learn more about the fundamentals. You should be reading more about it and about the for example, it has JavaScript guide, it has the introduction. You can read about more concepts, for example, like hoisting or like these type of things. You can practice these examples. And something like arrow methods. What are arrow functions? This is the most asked question. Like you can have a look at them. There is an introduction and a great definition about promises. For example, using promises, you can have a look at the definition, the description, and how it works, and how to chain promise. So this is mainly the documentation that you should be spending much time on before starting to work in a framework. And sorry. Okay, and here's the free code camp link. These guys are doing great job. They are providing guides for free. if you want to start with like okay, you would like to log in with a Google your email, and then you would get an insight to the like front end schedules that you would be using. Okay, so they are having so many tutorials that you can look at, like for the responsive web applications and so on. You can also use it as a guide. And here's the most important also resource, that is the leetcode.com. It's more for the for practicing the JS problems, or how to solve a problem. So it helps really with problem solving skills that you don't have when you graduate from college or from university. And here's the TypeScript documentation that you can look at. And here's the Angular documentation, the Vue, and the React. And now I'm done. Thank you for your time. And any questions? If you don't have any questions, you can submit your questions on Slack. No questions?
Thank you, Safaa.
Okay. Thank you so much. And see you in more introductions and sessions later on. Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye. Bye.